90 days, and if you're not satisfied, we'll refund or replace them for you. So what do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Whatever you drive a Firestone.
Conditions apply. See FirestoneTire.com for details.
For several years, KCAA has been marketing the Youngevity brand of nutritional and personal care products. Our experience with Youngevity has been 100% positive, so we are pleased to recommend them to you. Regarding nutritional supplements, we recommend Pollen Burst in the berry flavor and Tangy Tangerine 2.0 in the tablet form. For regularity issues, we recommend 3-Day Cleanse, and for personal care, we recommend Morning Hydration Cream. You can shop online for Youngevity at www.kcaateam.com, or you can order by phone by calling 800-982-3197 and tell customer support that you are part of the KCAA team. Youngevity is an American company based in San Diego. Call Youngevity at 800-982-3197 and ask about monthly auto ship that allows you to buy Youngevity products at wholesale prices. That number again, 800-982-3197.
10 little miles, 9 little miles, 8 little, 7 little, 6 little miles, 5 little miles from San Bernardino. I woke up humming and thought of you. I looked out the window, what a view. 5 little miles from San Bernardino, 4 little miles from San Bernardino. The porter shouted, we're almost due. I saw familiar spots we knew. 4 little miles from San Bernardino, 3 little miles from San Bernardino. My bag was packed and ready. I said to myself, steady, 2 more miles and you're in heaven. 1 little mile from San Bernardino. My heart was skipping a
beat or two. What's up, team? This is Robert Porter with the I Love San Bernardino County radio show on KCAA NBC 106.5 FM, 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, where we will talk some politics, culture, and what else, Hal Kelly?
Herstory.
History.
That's right. Not history, herstory.
Now, who says that?
Who says that?
Like Popeye says it like that, or what?
No, all the Azteca.
Azteca, okay.
That's right.
History. All right. Historia. All right. Well, since we're talking about history, we might as well jump right on in it while we're waiting for my co-host Carmel Rhoda to come into the house. Now, I'm trying to stay on the mic here, and I hope you guys do too. I'm really good at getting away from the mic, and I should probably be right in on it. So if you guys would get up on that. In a little bit, we will be talking with Mr. Woods here and Miss Amaya. And you are from, go ahead and tell your organization.
Unity. My name is Marcus Woods. I'm from Unity. I started Unity after 17 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit.
Mm-hmm. Get that. Yeah. I think the song's still playing over there, dude.
Robert, get that second.
Oh, okay. I need to come up here.
Yeah. No, that one. Yeah, right there. That one. Yep. Yeah. There you go.
A little better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're a little technical. Okay, so will we get into not crime prevention, incarceration and violence prevention?
Yes.
Yes, and I when you approached me with that, I was like, wow, that's a great
really
show.
Great, yep.
That's really important, but also important is history. And I'm sure the history of those programs is super important. And if you'd like to come on again someday, and with all that history, we could go through that. We've had history of disability on here, tons of local history. So not just like old picture kind of history, but like a history of movements. And San Bernardino in our area is known for movements, including the civil rights movement.
Yep.
Right? We had some of the first test cases for the civil rights movement right here at the plunge pool because they weren't letting Mexican Americans use the pool certain days. They would only be able to use it before they drained it. So if we don't remember history like that, we're like daring ourselves to repeat it.
Yep.
Oh, yes. Most
You're
definitely.
not showing the next generation where you come from.
So true. All right, so we got a little bit of kind of food history here. So I'm reading from a book that Al Kelly borrowed from the library over there, The People of San Manuel by Clifford E. Travsner. And he's a pretty smart fellow, an excellent anthropologist. And this one is The People of San Manuel, and we're on page 24, Acorns and Mesquite as a Serrano staples. Serrano people had a masterful knowledge of their environment, and they used between 200 and 300 kinds of plant foods that provided high nutritive value for the people. These foods were important in keeping the people healthy, and over time, the absence of these foods in the Serrano diet has contributed to higher risk factors for a variety of diseases, including diabetes, tuberculosis, pneumonia, influenza, gastrointestinal disorders, cancer, heart disease, and others. So why did I read that? Well, what they did is they basically adopted the white man's diet or the Western diet, and they got all these diseases. It's a great insight into what we're doing wrong by putting bad things into our bodies.
Yes.
Right? And one thing that's not mentioned here is cancers. And I'd like to dedicate this show right here to my good friend Neona Rose. Carmel Rose in the house? Oh,
You locked the door.
come on in, Carmel.
Come on!
Hi.
So on a little somber note, I'd like to dedicate this show to my good friend Neona Rose and former guest here on the show. She was the head of Urban Gardens and an admin on I Love San Bernardino. She passed away very suddenly, within 5 days of finding out that she had cancer. So this just happened recently, and I'm going to miss her very much. She was a great lady, and she went out of her way for everyone to just support them and do good things. So dedicate this show to Neona, and we're going to keep Urban Gardens going and get those food tradings, because we trade fruit, and that's what we do with that. But so we could get better foods to our community, right? Because if we don't eat proper foods, we are going to end up getting the same thing. So basically, the San Manuel, we're here eating good food, nutrition of value, a balanced diet from our area, from the hills, from crops that they grew, or some people say they just hunter-gathered, right? But the thing was, they were healthy, and then they entered the Western diet, and look at all these diseases come up. To me, it was profound when I read that, and unfortunate that our people have to deal with this. The corporations are forcing these foods on us. They could force good food on us, right? Man, they could, but they choose not to. A little bit more here. Okay. All right. Serranos gathered a variety of delicious foods, but acorns were one of the most important. The people preferred acorns from the black oaks over the live oaks, but both of these acorns were edible and used. Now, what I'd like to explain about acorns, and I had my first time trying We Wish, the prepared form of acorns. You have to remove the tannic acid through a process called leaching prior to using it as a flour or making any food out of it, right? Well, here it says they had two types that they used. Well, I'm going to add to that. They used every type of acorn around here, right? And this is what they did. They mixed them. Yeah. So if you mixed a variety of a canyon live oak with a white oak, you would actually allow that ground stuff to last longer, because the tannic acid in there would keep it fresh or keep it preserved, right? And then later on, you would remove the tannic acid, right? So you'd leave it in there, but that would also help keep the other flowers good. So if you don't really like a certain flower, but you like the other one, and you only have a little bit of it, you mix them together, and hopefully you'll get something better. The same thing was happening here. So not just one acorn, but all the different acorns. And I'd imagine they were probably adding other things in there, probably some salts here. Chia, maybe. Yeah, different, of course, chia, possibly wild honey. I mean, the We Wish was a bit bland, but earthy and in a flavorful and that type of way. So I can imagine if you put honey on it or some fresh fruit, how good it would be. So they had some superior foods. And now, I mean, I hope you're not thinking that the Native Americans ate nuts and berries and things like that. They ate a whole any kind of food you can imagine in this area that could grow here, from animals to plants, right? To fungus, to insects, right? Whatever they could use, and it equaled living a healthy life. So if you thought that what the Native American diet was, or the way they lived was simple in any way, it was actually superior to the way we are living off of McDonald's. And I have to admit, I just went and bought a burger the other day. All right, so I hope it's not too much of a lecture, but I think the people of San Bernardino need to step up with their diet and get a better diet, because myself, I shouldn't be eating fast food 3 times a week. Fast food for my mama and my grandpa was a special treat that only happened when there was some extra money. Now it feels like I go there for convenience. And so I've been forcing myself to make food at home lately, and I hope maybe that's one thing we could try. Just try one meal. Instead of going to get fast food that one day, go make one meal at home instead.
You know, Robert, when I went to Ohio, and I went to Arkansas and I went to Ohio, but I was gone for 10 days, and I promise you I had to eat out for 10 days. Okay, and that was like the worst experience of my life, right? Like, by the time I came home, I was just like too through. So I got back on April 17th, and I want you to know that from that day to today, I have cooked dinner every single night. Okay.
And you sound a lot better because you got a little sick there for a while.
Even then, I cooked dinner. And, I'm a pretty good cook, but I don't let people know that because I don't really want to have to cook. Too late
now. We know.
But man, I'm gonna tell you, I can cook the best steak around. Okay.
Hey, let me tell you, I'll pull up the best barbecue around right up here in front. We'll hook it up.
I hear a San Bernardino challenge going on here. San Bernardino challenge.
Well, we got Frank over here eating Uncle Ben's out of a bag, man. He'd rather have some steak, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, team. Well, what else has been going on, Carmel? What have you been into?
Oh, man.
Yes.
I've been trying to stay out of stuff. Okay? It doesn't necessarily work out too well for me, but I've been trying to just stay out of it. But it's kind of hard to stay out of it when every single time you turn, somebody is just doing something wrong. And I just have to just encourage people, just show up to city council, just read your agendas and hold people accountable, because I find it real sad that Riverside County had to not pass the dog shelter when our own city officials didn't even listen to us. Not saying that it's over, because we all know it's not over, but it's pretty sad that other cities will listen and our own city doesn't listen.
So I'll take this time, since we're talking about this whole issue, I'm going to be a soothsayer. If you guys know what a soothsayer is, it's someone who predicts the future, right? And I feel like I've had these little tiny bits of gossip, this backyard gossip, just floats around, and I see peace over there, and I see peace over there. Well, I'm starting to see the pieces coalesce into a movement that might try to recall our mayor. And I don't know if he's aware, and I hope he is. I personally ain't about that. I'm going to support him, but I want him to be aware that I see the pieces. I see the chess pieces moving. And what they're trying to do now is they're trying to find donors that will support that movement, right? It's a slow movement. And how I deciphered this is I started seeing some of those main players drop poop bombs, right? They'll go in areas and they'll drop a poop bomb, and then the poop goes everywhere, and then those people aren't friends no more, right? So you drop enough of these, you can kind of feel out where everybody stands, and you force people on teams.
Social media.
Well,
yeah, and in general, backyard gossip.
Well, let me just tell you that, I supported the mayor, or at least I tried to support the mayor, until last week's city council meeting that I didn't get my 3 minutes. Because after 60 minutes of public comment, they shut it down. Wow. And even told Cheryl Brown, you have to wait until the end of this council meeting before you can speak.
Oh, that's good.
Now, I had to leave early because I brought my daughter. Well, actually, I picked her up from practice, and I was like, oh, I need my turn to speak, so I got to get back. And we're there and it's like 10:30 and my kid has to go to bed and she's freaking starving. So I might have to take her. So then my public comment doesn't get heard. And now all the way till midnight, if people want to speak, like, don't shut it down. Like, you should care about what we have to say. And right there to me, I said, that's it. Like, you don't care what we have to say. You're not listening. You know, you did some backstabbing BS to the animal lovers, okay? And we all really, we just, there's enough of us that we just don't really have to stand for it. So if they do recall the mayor, I'll be next in line to take a seat. Serious. So like, I didn't want his job and I wanted to support him.
So, but this is how I feel about it. I don't want another friggin' election. I'm tired of this
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, but I'm tired of not being heard.
That's true. I got to speak, and I suggest everybody who wants to speak early and get out of there early, get there a little earlier and put in your thing. But everybody should be able to speak in the beginning. I agree with that. It
like,
shouldn't be pushed on.
To me, you took my right of free speech away from me.
Yeah, because you had to leave and you came there early to speak.
But even though, Robert, most nights I stay there till the end. Like, you'll see everybody gone, and if you're watching on TV, you'll see Carmel Rose still in the audience.
Hey,
Okay?
Carmel, I believe that is a violation of the Opens Meetings Act. I'm pretty sure it is because they tried that on Ukaipa.
Yeah, I think they've gotten into this stuff before, and I think you're allowed to create your own time limit.
Well, yeah, but then
I've sat in there myself when I've heard the mayors tell somebody that's enough, and cut off their tongue.
Yeah, well, they do after 3 minutes, but
not just 3 minutes per speech, three minutes total for the whole meeting. Yeah.
We used to all have 12 minutes to speak. We used to have 3 minutes to speak on items not on the agenda, and then you could speak. Comment. Yeah, and then you could speak 3 minutes on 3 different items. Right. So now we get 3 minutes, period, and then at the end of an hour, you cut everybody off. I mean, that to me is like spit on the people and in their face. Like, to me, that was you spit in my face.
But in reviewing the charter, because I have the book because of me being the commissioner, it states that the citizens are at the top of that charter, then the city council. But our citizens are not aware of that. We've been inviting more youth to city council.
We've been on top from day one because the council and the mayor are to do the people's business. That all that money, it's our money. The dogs, that's our shelter. It ain't theirs. It's ours. But why does nobody listen? Well, I mean, it makes me happy to see that, there was enough people in the meeting to cause some disturbance, because I've been going where it's just me and Robert in there.
Yeah.
Or me and Robert and Betty Jean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like now,
So-
you can't even get a seat, and now they're closing time.
So if I was somebody and I wanted to keep moving forward in a positive manner, I would slow my roll right now. And I would figure out a way to fix this shelter issue right this second. I would put 100% of your time into it. And if you don't, dude, you may have all these shelter people helping to recall you. Imagine that. All these people driving all the way from San Diego.
And if you think they can't raise money, when my dog got locked in jail, they raised $2,200 in less than 5 days for my dog.
Your dog did time?
My dog did time.
Wow.
And then my neighbor murdered him, but that's a different story for a different show. But yeah.
You had a pit, huh?
Yep. But it was $2,200 in 5 days. And it didn't come at $100 here or there. No, it was $5, $10, $15. Okay, and actually my dog has a Facebook page, has like 5,000 friends. Because of these dogs. I mean, when they put their mind to something, they get it done.
They can move it, yeah.
So I've warned you, dude, because I want you to do good, man. Please listen to us. We're not stupid, dude. There is no political end game that would win here without you fixing this situation, period. There ain't going to a higher office. They will follow you there. They'll follow
And
you.
if you get recalled, how are you going to go to a higher office? Because then when you try to go for Senate, they're going to laugh at you and say, aren't you the recalled mayor?
When we have our state officials doing more within our city, what does that say about our city? We have all these state officials. We have Connie, we have Aguilar, we have Ramos, Miss Reyes. When they're actively advocating for our city, what does that say about our city council and the people?
It means that people like a good friend Sandra Barra have to step up and grab a hold of those people. And hey, we want to work with you. And Sandra's been doing a good job of that.
She's the one who tells the truth up there.
She speaks her mind up there, and that's what the people need, actually.
And because she reads her agenda. She reads her agenda. Most of them, they don't read their agenda.
And she calls them on their agenda, too. I've seen her. And even in public, when we've had coffee with the cops, she's putting it out there. She's very transparent.
Sandra, me and her can argue too, right? But she does what's right, and that's the main point.
She told her people what she was going to do and how she was going to be, and she stuck to her word, which is something that everybody ought to do.
That's right.
And then I see on another radio show for Mr. Luis, Mr. Khan, right? We Are the Change, his show. I seen the mayor was on there, and they have a clip that the other team is passing around, and the clip basically says that the mayor would protect the. It says out of his own mouth, it says he will protect the shelter to keep it.
Wow.
And they're going to use that over. I mean, we may see this on MSNBC. And why? Because they'll put up a commercial for the recall.
Right. It's going to get some attention.
Yes, I wish you could understand the importance of this situation and how badly it could affect everybody on that whole dais up there.
And the thing of it is that if we're going to pay Riverside $2.1 million to take our dogs, and all we're really going to save is $450,000, I'm just going to tell you, $450,000 isn't really a lot of money. If you were to partner with the shelter, the nonprofits, you could save $2.1 million. Okay, because they would shoulder the burden and they would make the city some money. Okay, like there's a lady, we've toured it. It's this nice 5-acre property off of 6th Street in San Bernardino. She said, and it's like a board and care kennel, but it holds as many dogs as the San Bernardino Animal Shelter.
Wow.
This lady said, you guys can have the property, not like deed it over, but use the property for free. Just don't outsource the animal shelter. They have vets, they have groomers, they have people ready and willing to do that. They would hire licensed animal checkers, which we don't have now, and they could generate some funds. So if you tell me we're going to save $450,000 by giving this to Riverside, I tell you, in the end, we're not going to save nothing because we really got more dogs than we're contracting for and cats. We're going to end up paying more. We're not going to save a dime. You're going to piss everybody off, okay, when we could actually save $2.1 million and then some by partnering. I mean, it's common sense.
What we've seen in our city is the division of purposes. There should be one purpose to have San Bernardino thrive. Everyone says San Bernardino's strong, but is it thriving?
No, and it ain't strong either.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we try to persuade in the media.
Moving on a strong issue. All right. We'll talk about We Are the Change and Funnel Cake Fridays. Isn't the guy over there? Sorry, I forgot your name, dude. But he's doing the taco vendor night over here downtown. Right now, it still needs help, team. They're doing this out of their own pocket. They were sitting there counting out their money to pay the dang security. Security is why I don't do a lot of events, because they're outrageous. You can't even hardly throw it if you don't have a lot of vendors, right? And then if you don't have a lot of people for the vendors, then you don't have a lot of vendors the next time. So it's really hard to deal with security. So it's the most expensive thing.
How much security do you need? Because security guard, you can get one for $15 an hour.
Well, no. What the point of it is that they wanted to prove to the city that they had took the initiative to make sure there's some people out, some security. And the guys were pretty big dudes and, nice, knew what they were doing. I think, and they were armed too. So that's good for that area, and it made me feel safer. They were nice people. There was about 5 or 6 vendors, up to 10. Allie's been doing a great job on that. She's one of the members of our group admin of I Love San Bernardino, and she's been jumping into it head first to try to make sure that this market night gets started.
The violence ain't over funnel cakes.
Yeah. no, but let me
Or
tell
security. You don't need security for funnel cakes and
Yeah.
to fatten people up and
Yeah.
have a good time. It's a family event.
And if I was telling everyone, if you go down to the Court Street and you close your eyes, and you think of Redlands, Orange Street, and State, then open your eyes. Those are all old buildings right there, all the way down Court Street, all the way to the main courthouse.
And D Street and Court Street right there off of and E Street, I'm going to tell you, at night, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, it's the quietest place to be in the city.
All the lights are off.
No, they're on, though.
No, I'm saying a lot of the traffic lights in that area during that time between like 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning, they're off. They aren't on. There's no street light on. There's no traffic sign on.
Well, that's one way to save money.
Well, I've always thought, to me, that is like the best part of the city.
It is. It's beautiful.
Quiet. It's just like.
We've been looking at the Enterprise building right there on E Street.
Yeah.
It has a beautiful venue, but if you gaze outside, you could see the beauty of what it could be, of jazz bands outside, families sitting in the courtyard.
A nightlife.
Yes.
San Bernardino nightlife.
I've missed all the taco nights. Okay, I'm waiting to get to one. I don't think I can make this one because we have something to do with Girl Scouts, but I'm hoping that.
Well, this is
the next weekend after that, I can make taco night.
No, wait a second. How late is your Girl Scouts meeting?
Well,
are you
we're spending the night at Great Wolf Lodge on Friday night.
All right.
Yeah, no tacos for you.
No tacos.
Yeah,
No fresh tacos.
You'd have to deliver. We'd have to deliver. But they are open late, usually to 12 up there, right?
Wow.
All right, we are at the halfway mark. And what would you guys like to speak about? Violence prevention,
Let's
or
give you just a overview.
Okay.
Unity started about 6 years ago, and I met Mr. Marcus with the same purpose of helping youth to keep them out of incarceration. But with that being said, we're extending it to youth and adults. So when I heard how he developed this while incarcerated, created his own business plan and everything, I was intrigued because I worked with group homes for years with troubled youth, but never understanding the trauma that they were exposed to. So we were just taught, wake up, go to bed, brush your teeth, go to school, come back, eat dinner. The same thing that you would do at home, be a mom. But at the same time, never understanding the trauma that they had witnessed in their home and in their environment. So when he told me his purpose and how he wants to keep youth out of prison, immediately, we, last year or so, we had partnered with another agency, and we had a contract with San Bernardino High School.
Yeah.
And it was simply amazing to see that a lot of these kids in our city were already exposed at a very early age. We sat with 5 girls, 4 of them had been sexually abused in high school. So this told us that there's unseen and unspoken violence within our community, and then we wonder why it looks like this, and we wonder why no one's doing nothing, and we have Carmel here raising hell, trying to have people listen. But the underlying is what these kids are witnessing in their community, the lack of police partnership between the community, the relationship that should be a bond. I know Carmel, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. The police should have that rapport with her because she's a community leader. And seeing that not even the kids had never been into a council meeting, seeing how they didn't know who their mayor was.
Most of the city don't.
Yes.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
218,000 people and about 86,000 registered voters, 12 to 16,000 people show up. That's a shame.
Yeah, we took them. Our first event, we took them to the Rosa Parks event. Remember, it was downtown?
Okay, yeah.
These high school students didn't even know who Rosa Parks was. Okay. High school.
You got to think, these are seniors.
Seniors.
Her saying this is, these are seniors that's in high school, and when the question is asked, do you know who Rosa Parks is, none of them knew.
And they need to know who Rosa Parks is.
But I'm saying they went through an entire high school period.
Elementary.
From elementary all the way to high school, and until they get to their 12th grade year, and I take them to a Rosa Parks event, do they know who this lady is? That's disrespectful to the community. Yes.
It's disrespectful to Rosa Parks, but that's very respectful that you saved that history for them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should know about that, because if we don't know what happened before us, then we're not going to understand what's coming, in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So for us to, I'm going to just say this on something y'all talking about the city council and all that. So if you got a city council who's bickering and fighting and all this violence within one room, that's violence. If you have kids watching that, they're going to do the same on the streets. They're not going to care. That's why nobody knows the mayor. They don't care. So for a community that he is mayor of not to care who he is, that says a lot about who he is, as a whole, as a politician, as a person, whatever you want to put on there. If nobody's trying to help this mayor build this city, then he don't need to be there. Real talk. He don't need to be sitting in that seat.
So get building.
Yeah, we invited kids, and all you see is conflict. Exactly. There's no resolution. You have the community coming with problems and resolutions. Yeah. I've heard Kamal say, you know what, this is a problem, I have a resolution. It's easy.
Right.
Just listen.
Just do it.
Just do it and be a doer in this community. And that's what sets us apart is we're doing. Yeah. We don't have no funding. Unity does a lot of community events with healing vigils, community cleanups. We're having a family fun Friday. We do it every third Friday of the month where we're at a park and we're doing water balloons, or we did Easter eggs during Easter time. Some of these kids had never colored an egg. Yeah. And we're just sitting in the park. We brought fruit, and we would ask the parents, is it okay if they come color an egg and eat with us? I said, oh, yeah, sure. The parents are like, are you guys from a church? No, we're in this community.
What park was that?
It was the skate park.
Okay.
On E and
E.
Yeah.
The Cole, yeah.
9th and E. And
it's called Bryce Park, I think.
Yeah, Bryce and then Cole Skate Park. There we go. Yeah.
Is that the one that needs money to be fixed up?
No.
That's already fixed.
It's brand
beautiful.
new. Looking good
But
over
they
there.
are selling dope in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And the police don't show up when you're called. They're called.
Oh, really?
That's
very
because
sad.
that's because they somewhere sitting behind a building somewhere milking up the time.
Yeah, you're right. Like Staples.
Like you could really write down a list of all the places in the city where they sit during their
Yeah,
shift.
you're right. I can.
And know that they're going to be there during that 8-hour period.
People watch them too.
Literally.
Yeah, I sit there in Starbucks and I can watch how the Neo Hunter Gatherers in Wildwood act, and they as soon as they see SB in Starbucks or anything, everybody over there scatters. Right. They know and there's only one way into Wildwood, so they're gone. Yeah.
We had a former police chief who was a friend of mine. He was a childhood mentor of mine. And we were at a family gathering. He was there, and we were talking. Because a lot of when I was an adolescent, I was that at-risk youth. At home, I was seeing stuff. So here's these cops. And I said, how were you able to take us out on river trips to Laughlin and to Calico, what's that? Ghost Town, and go camping. How did you do that? Was there a specific funding that you got from the city? He's like, no. He goes, all that came out of fundraising that we did. Officers, because they had a great rapport with the community. They know every single gangster. You don't have a job? Come to my office, we'll get you one. You need clothes for an interview? Come to my office and we'll get you one. It was called community relations. Mm-hmm. And he said, I will help Unity if they allow me to.
That's profound. You said community relations, and the thing that we get, right, we get community policing. So just by looking at those two paradigms, you can see the split. Mm-hmm. If you're always looking for the problem, right, and never ever looking for the good in somebody, that's what it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity.
Well, how can you expect a community to respect police if they don't engage?
True.
If you don't engage in a positive manner, you're never going to get that.
If they're not at taco night, supporting local vendors and building that relationship.
Not being just like that, but if you got like big events in this community where it's a bunch of people that have something to do with how the city moves, somebody there should be there to support that.
So to give a little props to the San Bernardino Police Department. Mm-hmm. There is a few people that work for them that work really hard at trying to outreach to the community, and I don't want to leave them out because they've done a real hard job. But you're right. More often, we call them the 11%ers, and I learned this from a local officer. That's how many officers live in San Bernardino. 11% of our officers live in San Bernardino.
Wow.
When I grew up, I always talk about Mr. Finkel lived down the street, and he was a local officer, and everybody on our street acted accordingly. Otherwise, you probably get a gun in your face. And I'm not, and, that's old school ways, but that's how he kept things in order over there. You didn't act up. You didn't break into things. If you broke into things, you got to talk to Finkel. You didn't go to jail.
But Robert, that community policing,
That's a joke.
But I got to tell you, this is Captain Garcia who did that 5 years, and of course his son was the one that we gave kudos to last week. One of my former students that got caught 2 AK-47 shots in the head. He was doing the same thing. They were going down an alley with gang members that they knew, and didn't have the gun drawn, and one of the guys from out of the city took the rifle to him, and he just happened to have a rookie who took this guy out. So, and I have to say, just as much as I criticize it, what Bierman did for the city of Redlands was community policing, and they're always on the north side, and that's why there's far less crime there. They do reach out. So San Bernardino obviously has to do the same thing.
Well, I have this real strong belief is that, I've taken that community policing something class that the police department gives out, like Community Police Academy or whatever, and we spend something like $8 billion a year or something crazy on school police, right?
Throughout the state?
In our city.
In this city?
Yes, I'm telling you. I got
You
it
said
written
8
down.
million with an M,
You said
right?
8 million or 8
Yeah.
No,
billion?
it was in the billions.
No,
But
yeah.
it's not city money. It's school district money.
Yeah, I
But,
know. I
but
don't-
it was something really ridiculous.
That much
okay?
money and they ride bikes?
No, it was something really ridiculous. And the thing of it is after 6th grade here, after you get out of elementary school, they no longer give a dang about you. They don't, in junior high school, they don't properly educate you. And in high school, they definitely don't educate you here. And if you only started with the kids right there, instead of dropping them when they get out of elementary school, because, the first 5 is real good. The first 5 programs are, But as they get older, they drop them. I mean, you can let a kid get all Fs and you still graduate them out of middle school.
So you're saying we need more programs.
We need forget school police.
Instead of, okay, here's the narrative. If I send somebody to jail, I make more money. Violence and death makes more money in this country than anything in the world. If I die today, there's a long list of people who's going to get paid, from the ambulance to the doctor.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that while we're trying to push a movement to change that, we have to make more people understand that. Before it can happen, more people have to understand.
Thing. So you're basically saying that it's like a for-profit death.
Exactly.
Or incarceration.
Exactly.
Did you see that judge got sentenced for
incarceration and death
selling
is
black kids to be sentenced.
It's the same-
I mean,
Yeah,
but
it
it's
could
not.
be.
It wasn't just black kids though. It was more. It was more black kids than than most. But it wasn't just black kids, and that's what people need to see. I went to prison at 17. For a crime I didn't commit. They railroaded me from beginning to end. And I wasn't the only one. So. You got to understand. Here it is, 25 years later, and it's still happening.
Is that what inspired you to want to step up in prison? And
I don't want to see nobody else's kid in prison. If I got to go through all this, and I feel like I'm the sacrifice.
Just recently, my daughter's in middle school at one of the local junior highs, Airview. One of her classmates who's on the basketball team got her chain ripped off at that Burger King right there and jumped. This is a little girl about 4 feet by 6 people.
Man.
Ask me, has it been rectified? No. We happen to know a close family member who was in our group. She's like, yeah, that was my cousin. Okay, what can we do? We could go to the school. We could go advocate for this child,
right?
Because obviously the parent doesn't speak English. This has been for 2 years now. We've extracted kids who need help where the parents say, you know what, I'm at my wit's end. Help us. I've done the bully reports. My kid has signed contracts and nothing's getting done. But no one's understanding what these kids are going. Violence is learned. They learn it. Not in school. Not in class as an academic. It's environmentally influenced and home influenced. And that's where we need to build that bridge between police, resources, and family. I know some schools are giving out free food and things, and that's great. But what about talking about the trauma of witnessing dad go to jail, or mom getting smacked up, or dad, getting hit on, or watching someone get murdered outside their house?
Well, one principal told me that they invite the parents and they try to get the parents engaged, and a lot of them just plain don't come. Right. So how would you
get
the parents
it's multiple fronts
to be involved?
I think that's the biggest problem in the city, that the parents don't get involved. They'll send their kids quickly. They'll tell you, hey, can you pick my kid up at this time? And that's that. They don't really care. They go do what they want to do. And that's just my honest opinion, because I've invited many parents, even with the school, and tried to get them to come to events that have something to do with their children, and they won't come.
But there are some hardcore, beautiful San Bernardino
that's
parents
true.
out there.
That's true. You got some parents that's there. Don't get me wrong,
but you're
it's
absolutely right.
It's those who should be there that's not there.
And I hear what you're saying from elementary school teachers as well.
Right.
You're trying to get the parents in there for a parent-teacher conference or anything of that sort, or just the open school night, and no one shows up.
Or even just having groups that you can interact with your child in groups together, man. And when your child, like for me, if I have a kid that's expressing that they've been sexually assaulted by their family member and tell me that they haven't told their family members, then that's a problem. Because if I can't talk to my own family and tell them these things, then for me to as somebody's mom or dad, to know that my child told somebody else before they told me,
that's not
I'm
good.
embarrassed.
Yeah, that's not good.
I should want to know what's going on with my child before anybody else. And if I don't, that should be embarrassing to everybody.
And Robert, I guess I was very fortunate, because after I taught at Serrano for 12 years, then I went to Richardson. In Richardson Prep School, I was only there for 3 years, but parents had to stand in line to get their kids in the program. It was a school within a school. Charter schools to me suck the blood out of the public schools. They do some good, but I think ultimately the public schools end up compromised. That's just my feeling. But Richardson, the parents were there. We met with the parents once a month. The parents had to go there, or the kids were out, and it was a stigma against them. I have never been in a school that successful in my life. And the other thing is, for only having several hundred students, I think we had 4 counselors there, because as you were all saying very profoundly too, because sometimes that counselor is the one who has to break it. The teacher maybe not, but maybe the counselor. But everybody worked collectively together. It was masterful.
Right.
Like my kids, they go to school, and my kids are a handful. I'm their mother, so I'm going to tell you, the school knows.
Happy Mom's Day, Carmel.
The school knows who I am, because my kids are always in the office. Okay, for some reason, they're not bad kids, but like my daughter is a little outspoken, or my son, he's not going to take anybody bullying anybody else, so he's going to get into it. But
I wonder where he learned that.
but it's been a good thing. My mom always told me, Carmel, if you were perfect, I would have never had a chance to teach you anything. So,
Wait a second, you said you were perfect the other day.
She lied.
Lying today.
That was the other day, not today.
She was fibbing.
But the thing that I've learned, and that they appreciate the most about me, is that I don't just go in there and be like, oh, you did it. Not my kid, but like the teacher. I'm going to have my kids back, and I'm not going to have the teachers back. No, okay, sometimes the teacher's in the wrong, and sometimes your kid is in the wrong.
Right.
And there's a middle ground. But a lot of parents just go in there, and they're just like, no, the school is wrong, and my kid is right.
That's because they don't get involved.
Yeah.
If they don't know what's going on throughout the whole, entire semester, and I come up here one day because my child said that they did this, that child is manipulating the parent. And it's up to the parent to, understand that manipulation. If my kid comes say, immediately, hey, most kids when they did something wrong, they're not gonna say nothing.
Oh, mine tells.
But
The
if
second they
mine
get in the
come,
car,
if they come home telling you what happened first,
Yeah.
then they trying to butter you up before it comes to you.
No, they know.
That's the.
They know,
Really, that's the. I used to do it myself, so that's a manipulation tactic. So if I can distract my mama, from what's finna happen. Remember them phone calls they used to call, and if you didn't go to homeroom, I used to make sure I was at that phone every day. At 5:30, I was sitting right there.
I used to just hang the phone up when they call.
Yeah, you got to pick it up and drop it. So you have to make sure because it called.
Are you a pretend you're the parent? Yes.
What? Are you guys teaching about how to do
No, I'm
that?
not. I don't even think they do that, but I'm just saying
You
that
said
like
history,
that.
right?
This is
You know this.
if folks don't understand, how we grew up, learned behavior comes from us.
Yes.
If we can teach others that what we do, you teaching the next generation, no matter what it is, what you say, what you do, they're recorders.
Well, can I have an example of that, Mr. Woods? I'd like one of your success stories, please.
So, I don't know if you heard of Faith Acevedo, right?
I maybe
The boxer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the boxer.
yeah.
So the little kid was, involved in a lot of domestic violence when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So when I met her, first thing she said, we had a little dollhouse right there, and it had a lot of domestic violence stuff. She said, "I know what that is," and she walked up to us, and she kind of used some of the questions of domestic violence to get her to speak more. And you can hear, this little girl was about 10 11 at the time, and she knew more about domestic violence than some 50-year-olds that I know.
Sexual abuse, everything.
Yeah, she knew the whole situation. So they did a PSA on her. The DA of San Bernardino called something about domestic violence. I forget the name of it, but it's on YouTube or whatnot. But she actually is one of the kids who came from that darkness to be able to push herself up.
Into the light.
Yeah, into the light, so she's been through a lot of stuff, and her success is, now she goes to school. She's really, she went from being bullied to being somebody who helped other kids out of bullying, so I think that's the best success that any kid could go through,
Self-success.
One more thing. How important is faith and spirituality to your program?
Well, for me, I went through so much, man. It's kind of hard for me to intertwine faith with what I do. I have to be somewhat honest and say, I didn't go into prison all them years, man. I lost my faith, so I didn't really allow myself to talk about that.
Maybe that's something we could work on with
right.
you.
But no, I'm saying I believe in a higher power or not, but at the same time, with me going through all that, and I never committed to crime, I never understood when people told me that God put me there.
I know why, because
you're
here right now, that's why.
Right, yeah, I saved a lot of kids so far.
You went to college is what you did?
Yeah, I went to college when I came home at 34.
I told him prison preserved him because
Yeah.
if it wasn't through that pain and loss, he wouldn't have found his purpose.
Yeah.
He would have ended up dead or incarcerated anyway. So that night, he's being very humble.
I always say the Creator will test you.
But that night,
the hardest test.
That night he got caught for something he didn't do. A lot of his friends had got murdered that night at a party he was supposed to go to. So his higher power knew where to put him to preserve him for this moment.
Now you're saving youth. So how many kids are you trying to help right now? Like
right now, all kids.
As many as you can.
As many kids as I can help.
What can your program handle around about?
I would say
we had
there's no actual number because the numbers fluctuate
Okay.
of participation, parent participation.
Night or several times a week. Is that how you do it?
What we've been doing is we do like the community events. We invite them to every community event, even if it's like the Rosa Parks that has something to do with community. We invite them. Okay. He still goes to visit the local high school that he was working for, had a contract with. He goes mentors even without a contract. Mm-hmm. Last year we gave toys to Lincoln Elementary.
Yeah, I was a Black Santa.
He was Black Santa.
Oh, yeah. Over there I've taught paleontology quite a few times. That's one of the poorest schools in San Bernardino, and they have a lot of kids there.
They have fun.
To hear a 7 or 8 year old little girl say, "Can I please have that doll? I've never had one. I always wanted a baby doll." Absolutely. So we give them free shoes. Anyone that reaches out and says, you know what, can you help our child? We do prevention parties now. Right. We had a prevention party with about 8 to 10 boys who were witness to domestic violence. And in this prevention party, we talk about what is bullying and how it's abusive, how it's physical abuse, how it's verbal abuse, and we did Mother's Day gifts. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing now is trying to find a home. Honestly, we've worked out of the church, but we need a unity home.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we're looking at now, is looking around different offices and seeing where can we sit and have a community.
So any of you out, the reason I brought this up and how many people you're helping with, so the people out there know, like, oh, we know this grant, right, but it may only be for 5 people or something small, you know. But if you're,
we need something where the kids can come and enjoy themselves, you know, where they won't be interested in nothing violence. It'll be a whole lot of positivity for them. You know, they'll come, they'll have a safe space where they can play basketball, be on the computer, play games, whatever, do their homework. I'm big on that, you know. So if they come in there, they gotta be, you know, their grades gotta be right, everything, you know. They don't leave without understanding respect. You know, we need a space like that where these kids can be comfortable at. They don't have that.
So, you know, everyone out there, they're looking for a space. If you're a non-for-profit and you already have a room on the side or something, that might. I do know the Garcia Center. I don't know if they're only focusing on the arts and music, but they may do other things over there too.
Yeah, even programs like that where, you know, people can collaborate and be able to bring those programs to the kids that we deal with. I mean, like I said, I want to be able to bring everything that I didn't have growing up to, you know, the kids in this area, you know, so they can actually be able to thrive. Because if they don't get the things that they need from interaction and attention from the adults in this area, they're not going to respect it. No, exactly. You know, so if the adults don't respect
is what the kids really
need.
If
the adults don't respect them enough to understand that they have a mindset, and building that mindset means that adults need to change their own.
So adults have to respect and then lead by example to show the kids that they will respect.
Exactly what she's teaching her kids. They're not bad. They're advocating for themselves.
Exactly.
She's teaching them. I advocate for myself and my community and for everyone else, and that's probably what they're doing in the office.
And I think she's harder on her kids than she should be. Her kids are
good.
Oh, I know, because I've seen them, and they're sweethearts, and they're always helpful. And here, let me help you.
I hate to break in here, but we got to give out Kelly a little time. Like, you wanted to say something about the mayor over there. What's going on over there?
Yeah, I was
so
going to go.
Yucaipa mayor's getting a little wild over there or something. You got 4 minutes. What we got?
I just only need a minute because I'd like to hear some more there. Yeah, just that Yucaipa had a festival last week. They said they had 30,000 people to see Foghat. And I'm like, really? So they spend all this money but there was one Democratic booth and they got harassed by the same people. So I think that the California International Muslim Relation Group was supposed to go to the meeting tonight, and I figured that, I had pushed it enough. Let's see who shows up there. And all they were trying to do is even get a code of conduct, and they even defeated that last week. So it's one Denise Hoyt. She's the only one that's trying to make change. The others are just bobbleheads. So that's when I went to the county and made that point. And I will be meeting with Dawn Rowe about that, and I'll be meeting with Paul Cook's congressional aide. And I think, it's about time that we sent these guys packing. But I'd like to hear these guys kind of wrap it up.
As we end, I'd like you both and Carmel too, tell me something good that we can do to help the kids in our community stay away from incarceration and violence.
Just show them love and each one teach one.
Yeah, lead by example. Good.
So you got to understand and respect the reality around you. Allow yourself to be able to give these kids some hope through the things that you know and understand.
And go to the Unity website?
Yes, sir. Yeah. The Unity website is myunity3.org. And you can go on there anytime where it's a bunch of information on there that tells you about Unity, myself, and the things that we do.
Mm-hmm. You made a Facebook page about that yet?
Yeah.
Huh?
Facebook page about
Facebook page is Lamont Woods. That's my Facebook page.
Yeah,
you can go on Instagram.
I friended you today, so I'll be expecting it.
Yeah, you can
and just
look
before
up.
we go, what I get out of Unity and what I want to give to the youth is to listen.
Okay.
to listen and hear their voices, because I'm just going to read a few real quick of how childhood trauma affects adults.
Okay.
This says age 7, I'm sorry, I was born, I'm sorry. Age 8, hatred and abused by my stepdad. I hated him back, and as I got older, I figured out why would a grown man ever hurt a child? Age 5, the youngest I can remember was they were drinking in the home, and he was witnessing domestic violence. This is age 4. Leave my mommy alone. Don't hurt my mommy. Stop it. These are adults. The little color papers that I read right now, these are men who are incarcerated. This is their youth voice. What Unity does is different from everyone else. We expose childhood trauma, and we heal from the inside out.
You got to understand yourself.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Everyone, check out their website, Unity. And Carmel Rowe, it's great having you back on the show. High five. Al Keller, we love you, Noah. And Carmel Rowe, we are out of here.
Love the music, deep down soul. I'm walking and talking, living the blues. I'm a blues loving man. From my soul into your hands, music makes you wanna dance. I'm a blues loving man. I'm a sinner, I'm a saint.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
California headline news. 67-year-old John Rogers McFarland, a pastor who worked at 3 churches in Orange County, is facing multiple charges that he molested children, some as young as 5 years old, over a period of at least 14 years. He's being held on $2 million bail. Actress Felicity Huffman appeared in a Boston courtroom today to plead guilty to her involvement in the college admissions cheating scandal.
Felicity Huffman walked into court in a gray pleated skirt, took her seat at the defense table, and pushed her blonde hair back behind her ears, ready for business. She stood to be sworn in and said and spelled her name.
Reporter Aaron Katursky says Huffman broke down in tears briefly in court. And Hollywood legend Doris Day is dead at the age of 97.
Hey, set off, whatever will be, will be.
That, of course, was her signature song. Doris Day began her show business career in 1939, recording 650 songs and appearing in many movies and TV shows. Steve Clausen, California News.
Change can happen when you choose it. You can choose treatment and change your addiction to opioids. Medication-assisted treatment, or MAT, is a proven treatment for opioid addiction that significantly reduces the rate of relapse. Covered by Medi-Cal, Medicare, and many private insurance plans, MAT is even available through primary care doctors. Choose a proven treatment option that's right for you. Learn more at choosemat.org and choose Change, California.
You can't feel the thrill of doing something by watching someone else do it. You got to get out there and do it for yourself. That's why Firestone is offering up its industry-leading 90-day buy and try guarantee. Try our durable, dependable tires out for 90 days, and if you're not satisfied, we'll refund or replace them for you. So what do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Conditions apply. See FirestoneTire.com for details.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. Stocks are falling on Wall Street as China retaliates with its own set of tariff hikes on U.S. goods. Chinese officials say they're expected to set tariffs between 5 and 25% on $60 billion worth of U.S. goods beginning June 1st. President Trump plans to meet with Chinese President Xi at next month's G20 summit in Japan. Trade talks between the U.S. and China have run aground, but Trump insisted today that the U.S. is in a very strong position. During a White House photo op, Trump said American farmers will be very happy with the results. An emotional Felicity Huffman formally pleaded guilty to her part in the college admissions cheating scandal.